Hi, I'm D.A. Allen, and I wrote Losing Karen. I've asked a friend to narrate it for me, though, as it's a male narrator. So here is Alun Robins.
I miss her. I wasn't prepared for how much. A hole in the centre of my life opened up. But since she moved out, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. And who's she seeing? There must be a reason she left me. So I set about finding out what she's up to, and find it pretty easy to track her down. Next time I see her, she's doing her professional thing. False, interested smile, skirt suit, high heels, going around shaking hands. Those little nods she does. She looks a lot more attractive than most of the women here, even with the limp. Then what I dread happens. This big bloke with a woolly jumper like a pet sheep strapped to his chest strides up to me, hand outstretched. He's seen my lapel patch. Professor Atkinson. At registration, I picked up the first badge on the table just to get in the door. I'd no idea what Atkinson did. I do one of those little uncertain smiles to leave my options open. Loved your paper on the lost archaeology of Sudan. Really? Really is a very good word. Non-committal, with about 3,000 meanings depending upon how you say it. Andy Warhol said you could run a whole party on just that word. Conference might be a bit more difficult. My name's Soapstone. I think that's what he says. But I'm not listening, to tell the truth. I realise I'm mimicking Karen's interested smile and little nods as Soapstone bangs on about his own work for about 10 hours. They haven't got much of an idea about conversation, these academics. I suppose it's all that lecturing. They're used to a captive audience. I'm more interested in what's happening with Karen. I'm watching her while Soapstone's talking. This young, handsome bloke has come up to her, and her face suddenly lights up. I feel the pressure start to build in my chest. That bastard! They're standing very close together, and he reaches out and touches her shoulder. She looks up into his face. My breathing's getting ragged. I can hear it. Soapstone is looking at me. I'd certainly appreciate your opinion on that. Oh, fuck off! He reels back as if I've hit him. I think I'd better move quickly. I'm out of the reception room looking for the toilet before he stops reeling. I need to give myself time to think. I'm so distracted, I wander off upstairs and can't find the loo anywhere. As I come back down, I see young, handsome bloke crossing the foyer with this happy half smile on his face. He disappears through a door I now see is the gents. My blood's up. I'm angry. I admit, it's not a sensible thing to do. It's just that little smug smile that did it. I follow him in. He has both hands busy opening his flies. When I hit him, harder than I meant to be honest. He goes down like the proverbial sack of potatoes. His head makes a crack sound on the tiled floor. Then I piss on him. He's out cold. I get out of there fast, taking my name badge off as I go and tucking it into my pocket. My hand's shaking so much, I rip my suit. Fuck it. My hand's bleeding too, the bastards. I push open the door and head down the steps, trying not to run. It should be easy to get lost in the little streets round here. My biggest worry is whether Karen would realise it was me. She'd hate me for hitting young, handsome bloke. Might not speak to me again. And she'd be able to tell the police where I live. On the other hand, perhaps Atkinson would get the rap. That would be a laugh. I take a few random turnings, dive down an alleyway and turn into a pub on the corner. All is peaceful here. Lovely. Old blokes nursing their pints, a couple canoodling in the corner. I decide to clean my hand up before buying a drink and head for the toilet. When I get back to the bar, I order a pint. God, I'm thirsty all of a sudden. There's a chap further down the bar, in his 50s, drinking a pint with a whiskey chaser. Judging by the veins in his cheeks, it's not the first one, today or any other day. I can tell he's dying to chat and give in to the inevitable. We banter about pubs and beer for a bit. Then he says, "Of course, I shouldn't be here." Really? See how useful that word is? Came here for a bloody conference. I nearly couldn't breathe. But those things are so damn boring. I couldn't disagree with him there. "So what's your line then?" "Archaeology, specifically in the Sudan." "Really? Interesting, but bloody difficult, seeing as it's a war zone a lot of the time." "Have you written any papers on your work?" "Oh yes, have a look at the Journal of the Middle East. Atkinson, D.J. Atkinson, David." And he holds out his hand to shake. "What are the chances?" Peter Soapstone." "Bugger, why did I say that?" "You must have another drink, David." "Well, I don't know. I should be getting along." The gap between should be and will rears up and looks at us like the Loch Ness Monster. It's standing between us and the pub door. "Nonsense! You have to let me buy you one." And I quickly order 2 pints and a chaser for David. He has to build up those veins. After the first drink, it's easy. It's just to stop him going to the conference. But I get a bit transfixed by him. He's everything I hate, all wrapped up in one person. Amazing. And he can talk about himself forever. Public school, went to school with half the bloody government by the sounds of it, and Oxford University. Then segues straight into being a student, to a lecturer. Now he's a professor. Sitting pretty till he's 65 and gets a fucking great big pension for the rest of his life. Never had a proper job in the real world, and I've worked bloody hard. Did business studies at Leeds, which let me tell you is not the prettiest city in England. Blagged my way into Foster's and spent years in lettings, dealing with shitty tenants in shitty flats, before at last I got into sales. Yes, I made some serious money then. Spent it too. Suits, sports car, taking out lovely women. Then I met Karen. She was getting divorced and selling the house. We get quite a few of those. She's lovely. Big dark eyes, long dark hair, and such beautiful breasts. I had trouble taking my eyes off them to talk to her. I could see she was vulnerable. Hubby had run off with another woman, or was it another man? I can't remember. But she was all trembly, as if she was going to burst into tears at any moment. I came on like a superhero. There were loads of books in the house, so I said I was doing a state agency as a stopgap. Studied psychology. Well, there is a lot of psychology in state houses. And I was going to set up my own practice, blah blah. Not massively convincing, I have to admit, but Karen wanted to be convinced, I think. She needed a life raft, and I was it. Anyway, by this point in the evening, it is now evening, Professor Atkinson, or David, as I now call him, and me are best buddies. I'd invented a bit of history for myself. Small design practice, wife who bred border collies. God knows where that came from. Apart from stopping him going to the conference, I really had no plans for the boring old fart. And I'm itching to go. So when David wants to get a bite to eat, I agree, just to get out of the pub. It's accidental, in a way, what happens next. I say, in a way, because I could prevent it. And I don't. I just watch. He's right next to me on the pavement, going on about some place to eat he knows about. It's a narrow one-way street, and he looks the wrong way. I see him do it. And over his shoulder, I can see this white van barrelling down the road. I could just put my hand up and stop him stepping off the pavement. And I don't. I'm bored with him, to tell you the truth. Bored with his plummy voice and his wife and his children and his Labrador and his place in the country and the place they're doing up in Tuscany and his fucking fat pension all lined up. And I just let him step off the pavement. The sound's awful. Quite soft sound. The driver doesn't brake till afterwards, no time. As Atkinson steps forward, I step back so the driver won't see me in the mirror. I'm thinking that fast, it's like I'm watching from above. I take another step back so I'm against the wall, turn and go back down the alley. I hear the door of the pub open, people coming out to see what's happened. But I'm outside. The driver is screaming, "Get an ambulance!" And I think of Atkinson and his planned out life. That wasn't in the plan, was it, Dave? I find I'm smiling. I need to get back on Karen's trail, check the situation with young handsome bloke. I'm mentally leafing through the pubs near the university, wonder which one they'll go to. Because they always go to a pub afterwards. Like, sitting on our asses, listening to each other all day has given them a massive thirst. The only risk is that Soapstone might be around. But he's probably pissed off back to the country to reunite his jumper with the rest of the flock. I'll find them in the third pub I try. I glimpse Karen over the far side, looking slightly dishevelled and gorgeous. Her hair's starting to come down, her blouse parting company with her skirt a touch. But I also see Soapstone, sitting at a big table with a pint of bitter, talking loudly with a bunch of fellow Soapstones. Bit of a quandary. No sign of young handsome bloke, though. The sight of Karen pulls me across the pub. "Hello, Karen. You're looking very beautiful." "Ray?" She goes completely pale, like I'm a ghost. "Everything okay?" "Yes, I'm a bit tired. It's been quite a day." "Conference, is it?" "That's right, and it's been good, but a colleague of mine was assaulted and is now in hospital." "That's taking a difference of opinion very seriously. Is he all right?" "He had to have stitches, and they're keeping him in for observation. I'm going to see how he is in the morning, but there's nothing I can do now." My mood plummets. I try to get rid of the competition, and all that happens is Karen goes into Florence Nightingale mode. Never did with me. I was just about dying with flu last year, and she just told me to go to bed with an aspirin and stop complaining. "Why are you up in town? You look very smart." "Yes, had a meeting." I wonder how Atkinson is. Then a woman comes up to Karen and speaks my thought. "How's Atkinson?" My turn to go pale. "He's being kept in overnight. We'll see in the morning." "Does his family know?" "That's quite a puzzle. His father David signed in this morning, but we can't find him." I picture them, lying in the same hospital, unaware. I find the coincidence strangely pleasurable, like chaos has been resolved into a pattern. I'm suddenly ravenous. When did I last eat? The woman backs away, probably trying to get out of the range of my glare. I need to get Karen on her own for a proper talk. "You don't think he might have an enemy amongst this lot?" I'm trying to get the finger of suspicion pointing elsewhere. "Ray, I know you don't have a very high opinion of academics, but we don't usually have recourse to physical fights when we disagree." "No, you're right. The preferred weapons are journals and reviews, aren't they?" Her face relaxes into a smile that even reaches her eyes. Lovely. Seize the moment. "You need to relax a little. There's a good Italian round the corner, nice little family-run restaurant." Karen interrupts me before I start sounding too like Atkinson Senior. Another few minutes and I'd be buying a run-down house in Tuscany. "Ray, we are not going for a meal together. We are not going to do anything together. The relationship is over. As soon as the cottage is..." "Karen, I know I didn't behave well, but I've learned my lesson. Honestly, as soon as the cottage is sold, we won't have any more to do with each other. That's it. You'll see, Then I saw Soapstone approaching. He sees me and stops, wary. Perhaps he thinks I suffer from Tourette's. Then he talks to a man next to him, and they both look over. Is he making the connection? with the assault. How could he? But probably time to leave. I'll ring next week. Bye for now. She puts down her wine glass so hard she's in danger of snapping the stem. But a funny thing happens when I leave the pub. As I'm about to cross the road, I lose every ounce of strength and sink down onto the curb. Probably hunger. I feel something on my hand and look to see what it is. A tear has rolled down my face and dropped there. I look at it in surprise. Another one follows. And another. It felt so good hitting young, handsome bloke. Excellent, powerful. But where's it got me? I think of Karen's lovely face, how pale she went when she saw me. If she knew the truth about today, the attack, the white van, she'd inform the police, wouldn't she? And suddenly I realised she'd be doing the right thing. I feel desolate. I'm sitting there, sobbing my heart out, when fucking Soapstone sits down next to me. Are you alright, old chap? Old chap? Who the fuck calls anyone old chap these days? I try to stop crying. I try to dredge up a new story. Then I see Karen coming out of the pub and walking away from me, and the words stick in my throat.